Welcome to Adjust Your Mirrors, the #1 empowerment podcast show on the planet. Are you in need of motivation? Are you ready to take your personal and professional life to the next level? Then you've come to the right place. Adjust Your Mirrors. This is the podcast that's devoted to helping you see more clearly by making small adjustments. And now, here's your host, Reginald C. Allen.
Hey. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Adjust Your Mirrors. And as the man said, I am your host, Reginald C. Allen. Just thanking you for tuning in. Listen, we're getting right into the message today. No time to play, no games. Let's get right into it. I got to ask you a question first. Listen to this question. What are you waiting on? That's the question that I have. Hello, family. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Okay, listen, I was reading the Bible the other day, and in John chapter 5, I know, here comes the Bible man again, the Bible man. Hey, listen, let me see, how can I put this in words? I can't apologize for who I am, okay? You guys have heard my story. I went to prison. I've gone through all these crazy experiences, but I can say for me personally, the #1 change that came into my life was a result of my belief in God as a Christian. So with that being said, this isn't a Bible debate, okay? But anyway, I was reading chapter 5 in John. And it's this story about this guy who had been sick for 38 years, okay? He's sitting there, and in the scriptures, you can read it. I'm not really going to go into depth about it, but there was this particular pool that all those people who had these different sicknesses and they wanted to be healed, they jumped into this pool at a particular time, right? And they were healed. Let me settle down. But Jesus, this time, he came into this pool and he saw these people there, and he's like, he recognized this guy. He's like, man, hold on. I remember, now I'm paraphrasing a little bit. He's like, I remember this guy when I was a kid. This dude is still sitting here, right here, sick, not healed. What's going on, man? I'm old. I remember you when I was a kid. You're still sitting there, right? So when Jesus saw him lying there, and he said, dude, again. He didn't say dude, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to bring it into 2019. He's like, yo, brother, what is going on? Do you want to get healed? Do you want to get well, my friend? Like, you've been sitting there a long time. And you would think the dude would say, yes, I do. Immediately, right? But no, this guy says this. He said, oh my God, I have no one to help me. I have no one to help me into the pool. Whenever I try to get in and get healed, someone else goes down ahead of me. Brother, that's not the question I asked you, man. I asked you if you wanted to get healed, right? But listen, Jesus asked him this particular question, and the first thing he began to do was explain why he wasn't healed. In other words, family, he gave him a list of excuses. So that's what I want to talk about. What are you waiting on? In other words, Jesus is saying, okay, are you really ready to get healed? What are you waiting on? I don't want to hear your excuses, but what are you waiting on? Because if you were sick and you really wanted to get healed, you would have found a way to get healed. If you would have to punch somebody else to get in the way, to interfere with them jumping in the pool, you would have done whatever you needed to do to get healed. So I'm asking you today, family, we're going to bring this thing back to us today, okay? What are we waiting on? So I'm going to ask you 4 questions today. And all this, hold on, let me go back. So after Jesus asked the guy, are you ready to get healed? And then the dude goes into all these different excuses and stuff like that. Ultimately, Jesus just said, hey, you know what, bro? Take up thy bed and walk. You're healed. So family, I want us today to take up our bed and walk. I want us to Those dreams that we have that have been laying dormant, I want us to pick up those dreams, take those dreams, and begin to implement a plan of action so we can see that come to fruition, okay? But I have to ask you a couple of questions. Why do we wait so long? This guy waited 38 years. So I'm asking you, why are you waiting? Are you the type of person who, you have a calendar and you have it all, on this day, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be busy on this day. I'm going to be busy on this day. And you have this beautiful calendar and it appears that you're being productive, but you're just busy. You're busy, but you're not productive. And being productive means you're doing something that's bringing you closer to your purpose. Not busy. We need to be productive. So I'm asking you, are you productive? And you got to understand, time is essential to everything we do. So if you're mismanaging your time, if we're mismanaging our time, we're never going to accomplish what we need to accomplish. And here's the thing about time, right? We'll wait to the last minute and think we can spend 2 hours to make up for the years of lack, for the 3 years or 4 years of lack. And then when we start to begin to get a little groove, we've wasted so much time, and now that we don't get the results that we want, we start to get discouraged. We blame God. We second guess ourselves. Listen, we have to put in the time. We've waited so long. We've waited 38 years, right? We've been slothful for 38 years. We can't expect 5 minutes of being productive for everything to change. We have to put in some time. Right? Don't get discouraged. Once you come to the point to where you say, you know what? I have been wasting some time. Like this guy, right? Jesus asked and he realized, man, I know that I should be healed, but this is what happened. At least he could acknowledge the fact that he knows he should be healed. Family, we have to acknowledge that there is something greater for us to do. Let's first acknowledge that. We have gifts. We have callings. We have a universal assignment. Whatever name you want to put to it, we have something that's greater than what we're doing now. But we have to make sure that we stop waiting. We stop coming up with all these excuses. Let's start being productive. So number one, why do we wait so long? Number two, when is enough enough? When are we going to get tired of excuses? How come this guy, after the first or second year of having the opportunity to get healed, did he say, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm going to get healed right now. When are we going to say enough is enough? When are we going to stop working jobs we hate? When are we going to stop doing things that we don't enjoy doing? When are we going to stop coming up with all these different excuses? How long are we not going to walk into our destiny? How long? When are we going to say enough is enough? Again, you have a gift. You have these dreams. But you got to come to a point to where you say enough is enough. You have to. When does it become enough is enough? I'm tired of making other people rich if I have the desire to become an entrepreneur. At some point, enough has to become enough, and I start to have the faith that it's time for me to step out in what it is God called me to do. When is enough enough? So I'm asking you, okay, we're in a position to where we want to take up our bed. We want to take those dreams and we want to see them manifest, right? We want to see them come to fruition, but we have to ask ourselves these questions. Why is it taking us so long? When does enough become enough? And number three, why are we so resentful? What do you mean? I'm not resentful. I'm happy. I'm positive, right? That's what you teach me every week, right? Look at the guy. Jesus said, do you want to get healed? Right. And the dude says, I have no one to help me into the pool. When I get in, someone else goes down ahead of me. Now, that sounds like something that's rehearsed. I'm sure this dude has some anger, some hang-ups about people jumping in front of him because he says, listen, I'm sick. they're sick, but yet I have to watch them be healed every time there's an opportunity for people to get healed. Every time there's an opportunity for me to do what I know God has called me to do, I see someone else jump ahead of me. Every time I want to go into that position or get promoted into that position, I see someone else get ahead of me. Listen, I don't care how positive you try to become. When we see people who are doing things that we should be doing, if we're not actively involved and engaged in what it is God called us to do, eventually we will become resentful. So I'm asking you, why are we resentful? It's not their fault that they decided to do what God has called them to do. It's not their fault that they had the faith in themselves to say, listen, I'm going to do this thing. When we see people doing what we should be doing, sometimes we become resentful, right? But we have to be mindful of that. And I don't say that in the negative way of to say, you shouldn't be that way. No. Acknowledge that it's there, because you can only deal with it once you acknowledge that it's there. There's been many times where I will listen to certain speakers and I'm like, they're not that good, or I should be doing that. It's a little resentment, right? But it's only because maybe I'm not doing what I know I should be doing. I'm not doing more. I'm not putting in the extra hours, the long hours. I'm just kind of on cruise control. Family, don't become resentful. Understand that your time is going to come, but in order for your time to come, you can't sit there and just wait and just hope. And maybe someone will be merciful to me and give me their resources. No. Be mindful that you have the responsibility of getting up. And this is the last question that I have for you. We look at this story. It took the dude 38 years to get healed. We look at our life. We have this goal that we want to accomplish. And it's taking us forever to get it off the ground, because we're sitting there and we're waiting for someone else. But this is the question I ask, and this is the last question. Will you take up your bed and walk? What do I mean by that? Will you take the time to physically get up, implement the plan, stop dreaming, and start working? There's a time to dream, and then there's a time to put in the work. Get up. Getting up requires physical activity. Get up. Jesus told the guy, take up thy bed and walk. Get your stuff together. Grab your resources. Go get your, in this guy's case, go get your pillow. Go get your mattress. Gather it up. Pick it up. Bend down. Pick it up. Use your legs. Get up and start walking. Put one step in front of the other. Grab your resources, grab your ideas, grab your action plan, grab your notes, and take the first step. We've all heard this. 1,000-mile journey begins with the first step. You have to physically get up if you want to take up thy bed and walk. Family, we can do this. We don't have to wait for other people to hook us up. We don't have to wait for someone else to give us a handout. We don't have to beg people to do stuff for us. We don't have to just, become something that we don't want to become, sucking up to people so that we can see our dreams accomplished. No. We can accomplish our goals. We can accomplish our dreams if we take up our bed and walk. All right, family, have a great week. And with that being said, be empowered.
Thank you for listening to the Adjust Your Mirrors podcast with Reginald C. Allen. Be sure to visit the Adjust Your Mirrors private Facebook group, and don't forget to follow Reginald on Twitter at Reginald C. Allen. Please remember, when you're listening on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating review. Until next time, be empowered.